50 cents, designed for safety.
Clemson and Georgia close their season series tonight. 2 weeks ago in Athens, Tyler Jackson impressive in 7 2/3 scoreless innings, and he got some nice work from the defense behind him. The Tigers had just 5 hits in the game, but Chris Williams' 2-run blow in the first set the stage. Clemson adding 2 more runs in the 9th en route to a 4-0 win. So tonight the brooms are out here at Doug Kingsmore. It's turned out to be a nice night for baseball after a cloudy, rainy day in the upstate of South Carolina, and we welcome you into our ACC Network Extra telecast, the Tigers and the Georgia Bulldogs. This series goes back a long way to 1900. Georgia leads all time, but since 1950, Clemson is 24 games over 500 against the Bulldogs. Tonight, they try to make it a second straight year with a season series sweep. And hi, everybody, along with Marty Clary, Pete Hannity with you. A Tigers team that with 30 wins comes in still among the national leaders in that category, but Marty, in a kind of different situation than they've been all year long. For the first time this season, they enter a ball game off back-to-back losses.
Yeah, first time they lost an ACC series, and for a top national contender, it's important they get right back on the horse, prove that it was just an anomaly that they lost a couple games, get a win, and push forward. And
they'll go for an 11th straight non-conference win here tonight. Tyler Jackson will be back on the hill for the Tigers. Among those who'll try to work around to the Georgia lineup is a catcher DH, a sophomore, Mike Curry, who's done a real nice job for these dogs, leads them in all of the key offensive categories.
Yeah, he's batting .348, 8 home runs, 38 RBIs. Although the last time they faced the Tigers got the best of him, and he was 0 for 3 in that series, and I know that they would like to try their debt, and Curry wants to turn that around tonight.
He had 3 home runs in a weekend series lost by the Dogs against Arkansas, so he swung a hot bat of late. Speaking of hot bats, none hotter in this Clemson lineup than Reed Rollman, who's really picked things up. He's hitting close to .375 on the season. He has been on a roll.
Yeah, and he brings so much to the plate because he handles the bat so well. He hits the gaps, gets on base a lot, drives in runs. So important for him to set the stage for the Seth Beers and Chris Williams behind him.
Clemson going for a 31st win on the year. The Bulldogs coming in with 15 wins so far. Monty Lee's team's 23-1 in midweek games since he took over at Clemson. And our first pitch is coming up from here at Doug Kingsmore Stadium. A Wednesday night between the Tigers and the Dogs. It's just ahead.
See somebody get hurt with just rounding a base, basically. So Tyler's got to find his slider. So far in the first inning, he had it going pretty good, and now it's almost being eliminated as he's not hit the strike zone with 4 or 5 of them.
Webb just a .205 hitter, and this one in the air to left. Rollman going back at the hill, at the wall, reaches up, and did he catch it? It looked initially like he did, but Mitchell Webb on the first pitch he sees, and how do you, just the laws of baseball playing through right there, hits his first home run of the season, and Georgia has the 1-0 lead. It appeared Rollman had caught it from our vantage point.
Yeah, I'm surprised that I don't think there was as good enough communication from Pendergast. As he gets closer, he's got to be ready to jump, and he's still drifting and not understanding that he's there, because he probably could have jumped and maybe made a play on that. So he obviously didn't know how close he was at the wall, because he never did prepare to jump that, or his foot got caught there on the track area, the hill as it comes up.
First home run of the season. On the first pitch he sees the pinch hitter, and delivering a hard single through the right side is Adam Sasser. So now a base runner after that home run. And what do you know, when this half inning began, Mitchell Webb was just settled in the dugout thinking he'd be a spectator for the better part of this game, but an injury to Shunk, and in comes Webb, and Georgia goes up 1-0.
And then Sasser takes an inside fastball and turns on it real well. Doesn't try and overswing, and drives the ball into right field.
And a solid single into left field by Will Proctor. And first and second now, with nobody out for the Dogs and a run in. And a Georgia team which managed just 4 hits in the entire game back on April 4th now has 4 here early on. And a swing and a miss. So Jackson does a nice job to clean up what looked like potentially a disastrous inning. He does give up 3 hits in the frame, including a pinch hit home run to Mitchell Webb, but gets the last couple of batters on strikeouts, a caught stealing as well. Head to the bottom of the second, 1-0 Bulldogs.
Pull off of him some of his slow stuff and get yourself out.
Williams was 2 for 5 on Monday night in that tough loss down in Tallahassee. Trying to deliver right here into left, being chased, and it'll drop and up against the wall. Roman scores easily. Beer will be waved. Williams into second with a 2-run double. A little bit closer to the plate than I thought it was going to be, but Seth Beer giving the Tigers the 2-1 lead. And for the leader in RBIs in this Clemson team, now 39 driven in by Chris Williams as he sent it to left. McGovern gave it a great effort, but it was just beyond his reach as he approached the hill.
Yeah, they did a good relay here. It looked for a moment that he might catch that. Beer was holding off third base just to wait and see. But he laid back on that slider just right. And just off the gloves right there. Otherwise, nobody comes in. They would have liked to have seen Beer be able to protect himself a little bit in left.
Center field, Maxwell on the run. Left fielder, McGovern might have had a shot on it, but it drops. 1-run scores. Jolly will be held at third, and in a second with an RBI double is Andrew Cox. But again, you see another example of how Georgia, a little bit of hesitation defensively, particularly on the part of the left fielder McGovern, and the Tigers have a 3-1 lead. Green coming into the night, hitting .269, and Monty Lee also saying before the game, from 6 in the lineup on down has been a real big story too, because those guys have been picking up some of the power hitters and also getting on base. So when it comes back around, and there's an example right there into right field, 1-run scores. Cox will be held at third, an RBI single for the 8th place hitter in the order, and Green gives the Tigers a 4-1 lead. We'll see it more so with a righty batter. Oh, and a throwback over, and it gets past the third baseman. A little bit of a tumble. Webb and Cox. Cox will come home, and all the way around to third goes Green, and the Tigers add on. Now 5 runs in the inning and a 5-1 lead. And there's Green down at third.
Yeah, and he knows his arm strength and how it feels, and you know, if he's been sitting around, what he needs to do.
And Proctor couldn't get it. Shortstop, though, doing a nice job as Shepard is able to record the out. I'm not so sure, even if Proctor had fielded cleanly, if he was going to get Green at the plate, who scores and makes it a 6-1 game and give the RBI to Bird.
No, that's one of those really good focus, good at bats, doing whatever it takes to get the run in and not getting out without pushing that run across the plate. It's extremely sharp. I'd expect him to throw that right here.
And Williams running into it. Deep left center. Center fielder back, reaching up, and it's out of here. And Chris Williams hits home run number 10 on the year. An impressive cloud into the night. Second time this season he's homered against the Bulldogs. He now has 3 RBIs on a 2-run double and a solo homer in this game, and the Tigers build the lead to 7-1. Average down to 179. With a freshman from Lilburn, Georgia, just inside the bag and down the right field line. Beer over to field, a run will score, and over to third goes Proctor, so first and third. Jackson now over 100 pitches in the game. To right field, Beer retreats, reaches up, and he misplayed it. It's over his head. Runner comes home from third. Big R. Shepard's off to the races, thinking 3, and he'll get to third. Let's see how they score it. And it's a 7-4 game. And Jolly, at the very least, wants to at least make an infielder either move to his left or move to his right. That'll hamper any attempt to cut down that run at the plate. And does that and then some. Past the shortstop into left, an RBI single for Robert Jolly, who drives home his 12th run this season. First hit of the night for him, and the Tigers build the lead back out to 4 runs at 8-4. 1-2 pitch to Jackson. Center field. Maxwell setting up for the throw. Jolly at third, tags, he's coming, and they'll let it go through, and Jolly will come home half deciding if he wanted to slide or not. He's in with the Tigers' 9th run of the game and a sacrifice fly RBI and a pinch hitting role for Weston Jackson. He drives home his 16th run of the season. Tight that time, 1-1. So Shepard, again, one of half a dozen guys in their lineup at the start of this game, who a year ago was trying to help his high school team win a state title and probably was also equally as focused on how prom night was going to go. But here he is trying to make a big impact. Center field, Pinder going back at the hill at the wall, and it's out of here. And a 3-run homer delivered by Cam Shepard, his 3rd of the season. And just like that, it's a 9-7 game here in the 9th inning. And Sasser represented a go-ahead run, called strike 3, and all becomes a moot point, and Hennessy comes on and with 3 pitches picks up his 3rd save of the year and closes out a 9-7 Clemson victory. The Tigers get win number 31 of the season to go to 31-7, 20-4 at home, and they sweep the 2-game season series against the Dogs, and a perfectly placed pitch that time by Hennessy.
Yeah, 1-2-3 is what you call it. He came in and hit with all 3 pitches, and this is one of those games where Clemson won ugly. I don't think they would say it, but important to win after the series they had this past weekend, to get back on there in the winning track. And tonight, Tyler Jackson was the man who started him off and carried him through that.
Jackson the win, Hennessy the save, and Shepard the loss for the Dogs, who fall to 15-23. Tigers this year have had winning streaks of 7, 8, and 9. Tonight they snap their only losing streak to this point in the season. A brief 2 games, and they get back in the win column. 9-7 the final for Marty Clary. Pete Ganity saying so long. This has been a presentation of ESPN.